Miriam, are you ready for the media briefing presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, thank you so much. May I please introduce you? Let me do the honors because you are so amazing. Okay, we have Miss Miriam Khan, who is a Goodwill Ambassador. She's the founder and president of Global Women's Development Network. She's an executive director of the Community Development Foundation, CEO of Women's Economic Development Initiative Punjab, and founder and chairperson of SDG's Academy Punjab, head of school rural womenpreneurship, as well as our chairperson for the International Indigenous Women's Day Conference from 2021 to 2030. Ms. Miriam Khan, ma'am, are you ready? You are amazing.
Thank you so much.
For you now.
Thank you so much for your very high words. For the introduction, I'm really very humble and being honored to be the part of this global team today. And I'm going to give a detailed presentation and briefing to all media parties today for the International Indigenous Women's Day Conference 2022. So this is the journey behind the International Women's Day celebrations. We started our journey in March 2021 with the theme of Women in Leadership. So International Women's Day celebration was started with this global theme in March 2021 till March 2021, 8th March. These were the theme behind the conference. We focus on exploring the history regarding women empowerment. We worked largely on women's rights and empowering rural women. We checked with the global trade and marketing for the women. We also focus on women innovations and technologies. We also addressed women in agriculture, and also we addressed the conventional future interventions for women. These were participated countries in the first round of the conference. So the global team is still sitting with us, and they are adding value day by day in this journey of International Women's Day Conference. So we started our journey with the quotation, "There is nothing noble than risking your life for your country." So we all are here to work for our countries. We work here to work for our country's women and under the women's leadership. So this is International Women's Day Conference 2022. We are standing with the three major partners. This is American International Federation, Global Women's Development Network, Community Development Foundation, and social media partners, Andrews Network. As per the slide, you can see what exactly we are going to focus in this conference. We are going to address global challenges for the 500,000 women beneficiaries. We are going to target the UN associated goals for 2022, goal 4, 5, and 17. These are the key partners, and key partners are having the vision of uniting the world's greatest women leaders to initiate change in the world for the grassroots with different perspective. These are the main organizers of the conference. We have Circle of Global Business Women with us, Future Life Foundation, EDFO Foundation, African Festival Foundation, and Rebyte Pakistan. These are the conference think tank. D.Tmara is a very brilliant leadership person and running a beautiful team across the globe. So this is me, Mariam Khan, and Andrews William Jr., the think tank of the conference. These are the core team from different various countries. Dr. Calvin Morgan, Princess Seppi, this is Ma'am Hater, Cindy Mazamo from Circle of Global Business Women, and Dr. Syed Iftikhar. This is the global outreach for this this IIWDC 2022. We are reaching towards the 50 countries with the 50 women organizations, with 50 plus women initiatives, and with 500,000 of women beneficiaries. These are the number of countries which we are taking from each region in this conference. So you can see the number of countries from each region that I calculated the number 50 for this conference round. This is about us. This is the mission and vision of this conference, which Dr. Tamara has already described, that we are focusing on workforce development, vocational education, and skills trainings. Women succeeding as entrepreneurs and can access to capital markets and networks. Women enabled in the economy and remove restrictive legal and cultural barriers from their businesses and from their regular life. These are the target beneficiaries of this current conference. This is the population right now. This is 49.58% are the women on the globe. And we, from this initiative, International Indigenous Women's Day Conference is going to cover 500 million women, which will be addressing their rights loud and clear, making these group women take active part and joining others in contributing in a week-long virtual conference starting from March 4th to 8th. What is the vision behind this international initiative? So vision behind this global conference states that no woman should be denied their choices, these choices. A choice to know, a choice to learn, a choice to implement, a choice to accelerate, a choice to invest, and finally, to be able to choose a better life, building stronger and thriving families, communities, and nations. We have here served these women and highlighting them as shining leaders through this global platform. Objective of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. We are going to have this exercise, review, analyze, and consolidate different approaches, tools aimed at building a safe and inclusive working environment to achieve economic growth. Identify the impact of global crisis on women's businesses and ensure this is part of global trade. Build stronger capacity with the local level civil societies in order to mobilize community-wide support for safe and inclusive action in the environment. To access, disseminate lessons learned and good practices developed to enhancing women's rights and inclusion in the activities in their communities. Promote and exchange of information and experiences between trades. So this is the current dashboard of this upcoming conference. 50 countries are taking global challenges. 50 nations picking the people and available resources. 50 plus women leaders coming and sitting together to take away sustainable solutions. We are focusing on 10 sectors, women economic empowerment oriented, 10 sustainable development goals, grassroots development oriented. And we are opening 3 kinds of partnerships for every partner. This can be technical, strategic, and financial. Scope: uniting the world's greater women leaders to initiate change in the world of the grassroots with a different perspective is the scope of this conference. What are the tasks? We want to do something completely innovative. Task 1 is selection of new countries done. This list has been finalized from this core committee. Task 2, exploring passionate women leaders, which is in process. Task 3, connecting with companies and sponsors, in process. Task 4, reaching to speakers and their slots. Number 5, identify new projects. And number 6, action plan. The strategy behind International Women's Day Conference. We have designed our strategy to respond all women by addressing their needs and trends to deliver long-term success. Number 1, better businesses, better societies, and social impact investments. So this is the strategy of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. These are the proposed sector of Global Women's Development Network, Community Development Foundation, and also International Indigenous Women's Day Conference, because all partners are focusing on these 10 defined sectors. So these are business entrepreneurship, IT sector, skills and livelihood, business development, food and agriculture, health and well-being, environment and climate action, safe and affordable energy, print and electronic media, safety and security. What are the sectorial partnerships we gained within 1 year from round 1 to round 2? Because we are going to focus on these 3 defined goals by UN in this conference, so we are trying to understand emerging development trends by involving like-minded partners with us under different themes. Number 1, we collecting various bigger and smaller partners with us in women in agriculture. And in this impact, under this sector and under this thematic area, we have now the agri-diplomacy model ready to be presented through different countries front of the government and their foreign affairs department, in which we are majorly focused on women in agriculture. And all these respective logos are the partners logo, which are working on diplomacy model with us. We have large number of organizations and platforms with us which are involving on the sector of women in businesses. So we are now, Global Women's Development Network is having the banner of UN United Nations Global Marketplace also. And thanks to D.Tmara, Chairperson of Global Women's Development Network, a greater hard work that we are standing within 1 year under the banner of UN Global Marketplace. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your struggle to keep this platform on higher and higher day by day. So these are the respective organizations which are sitting with us in the women in businesses. They are focusing on their communities. They are creating entrepreneurs. They are focusing entrepreneurial initiatives in their respective countries and connecting these in their through their networking and partnership with International Indigenous Women's Day Conference initiative. We are also having women in rights and peace, and all respective organizations are already having a larger scale of work in this respective sector of peace, rights, and especially focusing the rights of the women. I'm really thankful for all partners which join us in this sector also to raise the flag of peace also in International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. We are also having a greater number of serious partners in women in education. So all these organizations which are working from since round 1 are still with us to working on women in education. And this segment is always open for the rest of the partners also. If you are working in education, women in education, you all are most welcome to join this sector for International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. We are also open this time in 2022, Women in Investments. And all these organizations are ready to invest in women initiatives, which we are going to submit on the closing of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. Thank you so much for all partners joining us for the Women in Investments. We are having women in IT and high tech. All these partners are also supporting us, especially the Andrews Network, always available to support on the social media. All kind of initiatives by Global Women's Development Network are sponsored and broadcast by Andrews Network and all other partners, and especially this sector for the women in IT and ICT. This is my global request to all IT companies. Kindly do join for the women, because we are taking these women into technologies, into online businesses, into online trades for their businesses, because we are focusing on economic empowerment with the innovations. So last, we have the women in community services, especially focusing on development sector sort of work, empowering yourself, empowering your communities. All these organizations, non-profit organizations, are focusing on women in community services by addressing their skills and livelihood needs, by addressing their technical and vocational needs. And thank you so much to the partners joining in this sector as well. International Indigenous Women's Day Conference for partners. What are the actions for the partners? We need from the partners is a possibility to raising awareness, which you are doing already with us by sitting in this press conference today. Action 2 is a partners and co-creations, takeaway sustainable solutions, finalize registered speaker slots, International Women's Day will be closed on 10 collaborative projects. So this is also with the support of all these partners, which we have described in our previous slides, that all partners are coming to submit their practical ventures to all sponsors and to all companies which are joining us in the sector of women in investments. And number 6, international indigenous women will active business partnership towards sustainable development goals. What IWDC is offering its partners and audience benefits low-income communities, especially women, economic opportunities and improving living standards, significant potential for contributing with lasting solutions, transformational element of inclusive business models, removing restrictions from access to funds. International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference committed to create value chains, improving rural women's access to productive resources. International Indigenous Women's Day Conference Impact Forecast, making a global impact by empowering women. So this is our forecast from now onwards. We are focusing on decision-making power in women, control over productive economic resources, control over the use and reinvesting of income, social capital and leadership in community, access to use of technology in businesses. These are all respective partners. And this is the summary of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference that Community Development Foundation, Global Women's Development Network, American International Federation, Andrews Network is going to engage 50+ countries, connecting with more than 100 women leaders as representatives of the countries, connecting more than 50 nations and tribes by involving indigenous women, taking their issues and rights under 10 defined development sectors, also making progress with specific indicators along with standards for 5 lakh women across the globe. So what are the 3 key messages of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference for our media partners? These are creating better future for all. Number 2, impressive range of acceleration for women. Task ahead is clear with financial markets. Collaboration and partnerships and registrations are open as speakers, business entrepreneurs, researchers, media experts, grassroots communities, service providers, and students and fellows. This is the impact summary of the overall International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. Rural-urban women's participation in online commerce. Number 2, accelerating digitalization in women's businesses ventures. Plan for different possibilities for women's economic empowerment. Number 4, examine and benefit the costs of 5 lakh women's development progress by 10 collaborative projects at closing of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference 2022. Proactively engaging policymakers to remove barriers. Look at the crisis as an opportunity to learn, grow, and transform. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all members for listening this important presentation with this seriousness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well spoken and a great presentation.